I was teaching third grade in Riceville, Iowa. I walked into my house. The telephone was ringing. I answered the telephone. My sister said, "Is your television on?" I said, "No." She said, "You better turn it on." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because they shot him." I said, "Who did we shoot this time?" And she said, "Martin Luther King Jr." And I couldn't for a minute think that the world was still spinning. There was no way I could explain the ignorance and the lack of civility and the unchristian behavior that this country was exhibiting with the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. And I was crying, and I was upset, and I was angry, I was furious. And I got my husband's supper ready. He worked at Oliver at night at that time. And when he came home, I said, "Tomorrow, brown-eyed people are going to be on the top in my classroom, and blue-eyed people are going to be on the bottom." He said, "Jane, you'll lose your job." I said, "If I lose my job for teaching something they need to know, I don't want a teacher." So I went to school. The first student in my classroom came in. They said, "Hey, they shot that king last night. Why'd they shoot that king?" I said, "We're going to talk about that." And I asked those kids what they knew about black people. And they knew every negative stereotype that I had ever heard about black people, and some that had never occurred to me. And I said, "Do you kids have any idea how it would feel to be something other than white in this country?" "No." "Would you like no?" "Yeah. It was like we've already gotten on spelling and handwriting. Keep this broad talking. We don't have to learn anything all day long." So I said, "Okay, today we're going to judge people by the color of their eyes. Brown-eyed kids are going to be on top the first day of this exercise." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I mean, blue-eyed people aren't as smart as brown-eyed people. They aren't as clean as brown-eyed people. They aren't as civilized as brown-eyed people." And at that point, little brown-eyed Debbie, sitting in the front row, and this had only been 3 minutes, looked up at me and said, "How come you're the teacher if you got them blue eyes?" And I thought, oh, this is how this works, isn't it? Here, this little 8-year-old girl can attack her teacher who has been to college, finished high school, and she has the right to attack me now because she has the right color eyes and I have the wrong color eyes. I couldn't believe what happened that day. A tall, blonde, beautiful, brilliant girl came into my room in February, reading at the 6th grade level in 3rd grade. She had never multiplied. I taught her how to multiply the first 15 minutes of math class. On the day she had the wrong color eyes, that brilliant little girl made mistakes in reading, made mistakes in spelling, and forgot how to multiply. She came in from recess crying. I said, "What's going on here?" As she walked across the playground, 2 brown-eyed Debbies and a brown-eyed Cindy stepped up behind her, reached up, struck her across the back with her forearm, and when Carol turned around, Debbie said to her, "Now you have to apologize to me for getting in my way, because I'm better than you are." And Carol apologized and came in crying. No person of any age will ever leave my presence with those attitudes unchallenged. I can't change your attitude, but I can challenge your attitude, and you have to prove to me that so-called white people are superior to everybody else on the face of the earth, and you can't do it because it isn't true. People are wondering whether what she did 52 years ago should be relevant today. In 52 years, we should have solved this problem. I am so determined that we change the education system in this country. I am so determined that we change what we're educating people to believe. There's only one race on the face of the earth, and that's the human race. Once we get that into the heads of our legislators, we'll have a different kind of law written. Once we get that into the heads of the police, we'll have a different law enforcement. Once we get that into the heads of educators, we'll have different education. We thought we stopped Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream by killing him. His dream is more alive now than it was when he was living, and you have proof of it by what's going on in every major city in the United States of America right now.
It might be interesting to judge people today by the color of their eyes. Would you like to try this? Yeah. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Since I'm the teacher and I have blue eyes, I think maybe the blue-eyed people should be on top the first day. I mean, the blue-eyed people are the better people in this room. Oh, yes, they are. Blue-eyed people are smarter than brown-eyed people. They are cleaner than brown-eyed people. And if you don't believe it, look at Brian. The brown-eyed people do not get to use the drinking fountain. You'll have to use the paper cups. You brown-eyed people are not to play with the blue-eyed people on the playground because you are not as good as blue-eyed people. Well, the brown-eyed people in this room today are going to wear collars so that we can tell from a distance what color your eyes are.
And it seems like when we were down on the bottom, everything bad was happening to us. It seemed like Mrs. Elliott was taking our best friends away from us.
What happened at recess? Were two of you boys fighting?
Yeah! Russell called me names and I hit him in the gut.
What did he call you?
Brown eyes.
What's wrong with being called brown eyes?
It means that we're stupider. No, not that. But, oh, that's just the same way as other people call black people niggers.
Is that the reason you hit him, John? Did it help? Did it stop him?
The first reaction I get from teachers who see this film or from who hear me discuss what I do say to me, how can you do that to these little children? How can you put those little children through that exercise for a day? And they seem unable to relate the sympathy that they're feeling for these little white children for a day to what happens to children of color in this society for a lifetime, or to the fact that they are doing this to children based on skin color every day, and I'm only doing this as an exercise that every child knows is an exercise, and every child knows is going to end at the end of the... You're going to interview some students tomorrow, some former students of mine, who were in my classroom the third year that I did this exercise. They were in a film called The Eye of the Storm, and we took still photographs of those children each day of that exercise, one when they were on the top and one when they were on the bottom, and I have some of those here. The interesting part about these pictures is you can take a child who's a perfectly happy, normal human being on one day, and by putting a collar on him and telling him he's inferior, you can turn him into a frightened, vulnerable, intimidated, suspicious child who cannot succeed on the day he's in the wrong place. This is Sandy on the day she was on the bottom. And this is Sandy on the day she was on the top. Sandy's the one who said, when we did our reunion, 5 years after they graduated from high school, I asked Sandy whether having had this exercise when she was in third grade had changed her life at all. She's the one who said, yeah, now when I hear one of those bigoted remarks, I wish I had one of those collars in my pocket. And I could take it out and I could whip it around that person's neck and I could say, now you wear that for 2 weeks and see how you'd like to live that way for a lifetime. Rex is the one who said, I'll have that collar in my pocket for the rest of my life. I can't get that collar out of my pocket. This is just one day in these children's lives. And look at the difference. What if she had to live this way if she expected to live this way for a lifetime?
Do you think all white people are racist?
I think if you graduated from high school and you aren't a racist, you weren't listening, you should have gotten an F in social studies.
So that's a yes. All white people are racist.
We are conditioned to the myth of white superiority from the moment of in fact, before birth. We are conditioned to the myth of white superiority.
Some people who watched these events today they'll have this interpretation of it, and just bear me out on it, that you met these people, you brutalized them to some extent, you were very hard on them, you made them insecure, you made them question all sorts of things about themselves.
Did you ever see a lynching?
Obviously not.
Of course you did. Would you like to?
Let's stick with the tradition of me asking the questions.
No, let's stick with this. What I do looks brutal to white people because that isn't something they have to live with all day, every day.
But you know the accusation. The accusation is you're manipulating them.
Of course I am.
And that's wrong. You're playing with their feelings.
Yes, and it's wrong when it's done on a grand scale in society. It's even more wrong, but we do it all the time.
Her child learns something like this every time he walks down the goddamn street.
Stop and search.
And in the United States of America.
Any kid stop and search because there's a knife problem at the
You're
moment.
8 times
Any
more
child.
likely to be stopped and searched
But
as a
just
black
swear,
boy.
but you keep saying statistics. I'm sorry, statistics
That's how
are
it
bad.
is. It's the way it is.
Everywhere, all teenagers out at night.
It's a
if they're
statistics
pissed,
show.
The police will stop them and look for knives. It doesn't
You are
matter
8
what colour their
times
skin
more
is.
likely to be
One
stopped
of my
and
best
searched.
friends is the
saying.
local Bobby on
You're
the
not hearing
Quit
me.
denying
I'm
the
hearing
facts.
you, but you feel you're
And now you're getting
unique.
defensive.
You are not unique.
You're still not hearing the point. You're not
I'm
hearing the
totally
point.
hearing the point. What I'd like to hear more is what you propose to do to actually change all this.
Oh, wait a minute.
Let's get on to
Oh,
that
wait a
later.
minute. Oh,
How
wait a
are we
minute.
going to change it?
Oh,
What
good,
will we
good, good.
do?
I'm so glad you asked that. I'm so glad you asked
I'm
that.
bored with this
What
bit now.
we
I'm ready
propose
for a
to do.
tea break and I
What
want
you're
to
doing,
move on.
You
what you're
lot.
doing is blaming the victim.
What victim?
What you're doing is blaming the victim.
We have
You're
a victim?
saying,
Where's the victim?
You're saying to her, what are you going
What
to
are
do
you
to change this?
going to do?
She doesn't have the
I
power
just
to
said,
change
what
this.
are we?
No,
us
you
going to
did
do?
not.
I did. No,
What
I'm
did she
sorry,
say?
you weren't listening.
Pearl, Stum. I have a daughter that lives, not with me, obviously, but she lives in a very middle-class area, a very rural area, and she's the only non-white in her school. I will not go and pick her up from school because of my belief of other parents' perceptions of my daughter because her father looks like I do. Now, you can frown as if to say, well, why? But the bottom line is, after 34 years of my life in this country, that's how I feel.
That's so sad.
And it's so...
Yeah?
I feel sad.
Okay, now another reality of it,
Yeah.
and ask any of my friends, is I talk in terms of I play the game. Okay? If you speak to me on the phone, you will have zero idea of what I look like. You either conform, in which case you get an easy life, or you fight against it and you'll end up criminalised, outcast and removed from the
But
situation.
Marvin, what you've said, I agree with, but it's not colour. You could be a skinhead and not want to pick your kid up from school. You can be a cockney.
The skinhead can let his hair grow. I'm talking wholly and exclusively based on the colour of my skin, nothing else. Just to qualify the thing about the school, part of the reason I don't go to the school is because, I mean, I'm mixed race, so I'm only half caste. My daughter has got a white mother, which means she's even lighter than me. Therefore, I believe that most, if not all, of the people at that school think she's white. If I turn up, then the children will see a different...
And treat her differently.
And again,
Possibly.
it's not necessarily because these kids are ignorant, it's because these kids live in an environment that's wholly of white people. I chose to play the game.
That's right.
That's it.
We have to play the game. There is this
Can I
game
make
we
a
have
point,
to
though?
play
White
to get
people
by.
play the
That you have those green eyes, that's the problem you're having, the trouble you're having with your daughter. Because you have those green eyes and you aren't as smart as brown-eyed people. Now, watch this boy's reaction. He goes, excuse me, do you think he's a little angry? That fast. You see, white folks are really super sensitive.
What'd you say, Ron? What'd you say?
I said, where's your proof that brown-eyed people are smarter than blue-eyed people?
I tell you, brown-eyed people. You just listen. Now this is going to be an effort for you.
It's gonna be a lesson.
This is going to be an effort for you because you aren't accustomed to listening. White males are accustomed to telling things. They aren't accustomed to listening. Now, brown-eyed people are responsible for the fact that you have electricity. Many of the components for generating and transmitting electricity were invented by brown-eyed people. Brown-eyed people gave us our alphabet. Brown-eyed people gave us our numeration system. Brown-eyed people gave us the paper on which we write these anonymous letters to me that tell me that brown-eyed people are inferior. When you go home, you people do not pray for me, particularly you. Don't you pray for me. Because, see, I don't have to worry about that. All of a sudden, you ain't going to pray for me. Now, Brown-eyed people are the ones who originated or who founded every major religion on this earth. No white people have ever founded a major religion. Now, you need to realize the contributions that have been made to society, to civilization, by brown-eyed people, by people of color. I'm talking about people of color here, folks.